Welcome back, class. In our previous class, we have discussed about the Kirchhoff's first law, where we have understand the concept of the law of conservation of charge. And today's topic is Kirchhoff's second law, or the Kirchhoff's voltage law. It is also known as the loop law. Just see the statement of the Kirchhoff's second law. The sum of all voltages around any closed loop in a circuit must equal to 0. I am repeating again. The sum of all voltages around any closed loop in a circuit must equal to 0. Now here, I think you have heard the first time the term loop, circuit loop. Just see here. Suppose we have a circuit where various circuit elements are connected. Right now, here the various circuit elements. You can see here these are the cells. One cell is here, one cell is connected here, and the resistances are 1, 2, 3, 4 resistances are connected here. So first of all, what is the meaning of the loop? Okay? In any circuit, electrical circuit, what is the concept of or meaning of the loop? So loop is basically the any closed path in a circuit. Any closed path. For example, if you're taking from this end, if you start from this point and reaching here, that is forming a loop, closed path. From this point to reaching this point, this point, this point, this point. So this is forming a closed path. Closed path. So that is called the loop. Another loop is also there. You can move from this side, reaches here, here, again you will reach here. It is also a loop. So loop is in any electric circuit is a closed path. Closed path is called the electric loop. Another term is also there, the mesh. Mesh is also a term. Few books have referred this term mesh. See, mesh is the shortest loop in a circuit. Mesh is a shortest loop or the simplest loop in a circuit, right? The shortest. You can see here, if you are considering from this point, suppose this is the point A. If you start from this point A, you can reach again the A by this path, right now? And either you can move from this path. So also, there are two possibilities are there, but the shortest path is this one. So this is called the mesh. So what it comes? Mesh is also a loop, right? So all the meshes are the example of the loop, but not all the loops are the example of the mesh, right? All the meshes are example of the loop, but all the loops are not the example of the mesh, because mesh is the shortest loop, right? Here the two loops are there, but this one is the mesh. This is because it's the shortest path. अब इससे shortest कोई path हम यहाँ पे consider नहीं कर सकते, right? So it is the mesh is the shortest loop, right? So here the mesh and this one. So here whatever the statement is written here, mathematically you can write this statement is what? It is the summation of, right? Summation of delta V is equals to 0. Right? Whatever the statement, the sum of all the voltages. Right now, why I am writing the delta? Delta is because the voltages are always the potential difference is there. That is why delta indicates the potential. So whatever the potential difference here. So if you take the sum, you will get it is net value is 0. Right now. So this is your statement of the Kirchhoff law. So this is the statement. I think you understand this statement, but mostly the application of the second law is very important. How can apply? So before you apply the Kirchhoff's second law and to find for any current flowing in a particular resistor or what is the potential difference across any resistor, you need to apply some sign convention, right now? Because without sign convention, it is difficult to find the nature of the potential difference, whether it is the higher potential or the lower potential. Right now, so whether we are considering potential difference plus or the minus. Right now, so the sign convention is very important. So just note down the sign convention to apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Right now, just note down. So to understand the sign convention to apply the Kirchhoff's second law, I am also taking some reference question. Whenever we are discussing any sign convention, I will apply that convention to this particular circuit. That is why you simply, with the help of this example, you can easily understand how you can apply the sign convention. So the first convention is, the first procedure, you can say also the procedure, the first procedure to apply this Kirchhoff's second law. First of all, name the mesh. Name the meshes. Right now, name the meshes means whatever the meshes circuit you have, you have to first of all apply the nomenclature there. Nomenclature. That means you have to name all the mesh. Right now, so here how many meshes are there? That means how many closed paths, simplest closed paths are available here. You can see one closed path is this one closed path is this one. The two meshes are available here. So first of all, you have to name the meshes. So I am writing the mesh name. This is P, Q, R, S, T, U. So this is your first step. What is the first step? First step is, first of all, name the mesh. Right now, whatever the meshes are available, first of all, give the nomenclature to them. Right now, first of all, I am assigning the name to the mesh. The second, assume mesh currents. Assume the mesh currents. The second step is that you have to assume a current in a mesh. Right? A current in a mesh. That means in these two meshes, you have to assume by your own self the current direction. Right now? So the question is, sir, battery, whether we have to consider the battery polarity, this is the plus, this is the minus, if the two cells are there and their polarities are different direction. So see, whatever the methodology or the procedure what I am explaining here, in this methodology, it is easy. Without any thinking, you have to assume the current direction. Right now, this method is very unique. If you follow the book method, that book method is very easy for very 1-2 questions. Those are having the 2 cells or 3 cells are given in the question. But if the number of cells are given and they are arranged in a very complex manner, then that methodology which is given in the book is not very useful. Right now? So this method, whatever I am going to explain to you, this method is very easy to apply. Only complexity in this methodology, you will get either the more equations, to equation solving. So you are already very familiar with the easy to solve the different equations. Right? Whether you have 2 equations or the 3 equations, you can easily solve the equations. So here, this method is very unique, and any kind of combination of the cells, any kind of combination of the circuitry is there. This method is applicable for every. So in other words, this method is a general method. Right? This method is a general method. Right? So this method is very unique. So no need to worry. So the second step we have to follow is assume the mesh current. Right? So here you can see this is the mesh 1 and this is the mesh 2. Right? This is the mesh 1 and this is the mesh 2. And we have to assume the mesh currents. Now see, in this mesh, I am seeing only one cell is there. This 5 volt cell is here. This 5 volt. And the polarity plus is this side minus this side. So I am taking the mesh current like this one. And naming this current is I1. You can take the opposite direction. It is up to you. But for the simplification or to avoid the negative, suppose if you are taking the direction I1 and this is not the actual direction of the current. So whenever you solve the equation, you will get the value of the I1 in the negative. So the current value in the negative, that means the direction of the current is in the reverse direction. Right? No need to worry. If you are assuming the current direction, opposite direction, automatically mathematics will correct your answer. right now. So this method is very easy. Without any thinking, you can apply assume the current direction. If this direction is wrong, then automatically your answer will be in the negative. Right now, then you will understand that whatever our assumed direction, this direction is not the proper direction. In the reverse direction, the current is flowing. Right now, so simple. So to avoid the negative, when you have some rigorous exercise on this particular concept, then you will automatically assume whether you should take this side or this side. When you have the practice, when you take the 10 times, 9 times you will get the positive direction of the current, only 1 time you are getting the negative. Right now, automatically you will think that this is the possible direction of the current this side. And if you are not getting the proper direction, no need to worry. Mathematics automatically correct the direction of the current. So what is the second step? The second step, assume the current direction. I am taking the direction like this one. Right? Clockwise. Clockwise I am taking the direction in the mesh 1. In the mesh 2, see here, this is the 5 volt, this was the 10 volt. So I am saying this is the higher potential difference, 10 volt. I am assuming the direction also in this direction. Right? Because 10 volt is a higher voltage. That is why I am considering. No other logic is there. I don't know whether it is the correct direction or the wrong direction, I don't know. Mathematics will correct the answer. Right? But I am predicting this is the direction of the current in the mesh 2. Right? So this is our second step. The first step, assume the nomenclature of the meshes. Here 2 meshes are there, 2 closed paths to circuit is there. That is why 2 meshes. And the second step is assume the mesh current direction. The 2 meshes is here. That is why I am assuming 2 currents. And why I am taking these 2 directions clockwise? Because of, it is simple, because whatever the dominating battery present in the mesh, I am taking according to that direction. And if it is wrong, no need to worry, our value of the current in the negative. Right now? But the magnitude you are getting the correct. So no need to worry whenever you are predicting the direction, no need to worry. Clear? Third step is assumed mesh current is the dominating current. Assumed mesh current is a dominating current. Assumed mesh current is a dominating current. Now see this line is very important. If you see this I1 is circulating in this mesh, this I2 is circulating in this mesh. If you see the 2 ohm resistor, this 2 ohm resistor is common in mesh 1 and mesh 2 both. This 2 ohm is touching the mesh 1 and mesh 2 both. And I am assuming in the mesh 1 the I1 current is flowing and mesh 2 the I2 current is flowing. So what is the current direction in the 2 ohm resistor? What is the direction of the current in the 2 ohm resistor? Because I1, if you consider the mesh 1, then I1 is there. If you are considering the mesh 2, then the direction of the current this side. So this third point is assumed mesh current is a dominating current. That means when we are considering this mesh, when we are applying the KVL on the first mesh, then I1 is the dominating current. And when we apply when we are applying the KVL in the second mesh, then I2 is the dominating current. Assumed mesh current is a dominating current. जिस मेश को हम कंसीडर कर रहे हैं केवीएल लगाने के लिए, उस मेश की जो भी करंट है वो डोमिनेटिंग करंट है ना, वो डोमिनेटिंग करंट है. यानी if you are applying the KVL on the mesh 1, so what is the direction of the I1? I1 is flowing from R to U direction. Right now, see, like this, the clockwise. I1 is flowing from R to U direction. And I2, if you see the I2 is flowing from U to R. Right now, I1 is flowing from R to U and I2 is flowing from U to R. And if you are applying the KVL on the mesh 1, then I1 is dominating. In that case, what is the net current flowing through this 2 ohm resistor? Then I1 minus I2. Why we are applying this one? Because we are assuming the mesh 1. We are applying the KVL in the mesh 1. So in which mesh we are going to apply the KVL, that mesh current is a dominating current. Clear? If you are applying the second mesh KVL, if you are applying the KVL on the second mesh, in that case the I2 will be dominating. In that case, the I2 minus I1 current is flowing in this two register. Right? So assumed mesh current is a dominating current. No need to worry when you apply when you are going to apply some KVL on any particular question, then it is easy to identify whether it's I1 minus I2 or I2 minus I1. Right? First of all, I am giving you the procedure how you can apply the KVL in different mesh. So no need to worry when we discuss the question, it is easy to apply. Right now, so here assumed mesh current is a dominating current. Right now, this is your third one. After that, fourth, positive value of current is indication of right direction of current, otherwise that means if the negative is coming, otherwise if negative value is coming, then the current direction is reversed. What is this fourth point indicate? See here. Suppose whatever the assumed direction you have taken, the I1 in this direction, I2 in this direction, and after that you just apply the KVL. And after applying the KVL, you are getting the two equations and you are solving the equations and you are getting the I1, I2 values. Suppose the value of the I1 and I2, I1 is also positive and I2 is also positive. The positive value is coming. Whenever you are solving the any equation, the value of the x and y, suppose you have the two equation of x plus 2y is equal to something and 2x plus 3y is equal to something. And whenever you are solving the value, you are getting the value of x and the y. Similarly, you are getting the I1 and I2. Right now, so if the I1, I2 values coming is positive, that means whatever the assumed direction of the current is the actual direction of the current. Right now, because without any thinking you are just assuming the direction of the current. If it is coming the positive, after solving the equation, if it is coming positive, that means the direction of the current, assumed direction current is actual direction of the current. Clear? And if it is coming negative, that means the actual direction of the current is in the reverse direction of the assumed current. Right now, any one can be negative. Suppose one is positive, one is negative. Anyone, which value of the current is coming negative, that value is basically indicates the direction. That value of the current direction is in the reverse direction of the assumed current. Right now, if first I1 is coming negative and I2 is coming positive, that means I2 is in the same direction. The actual direction of the current is in the direction of the assumed direction of the I2. But I1 is coming negative, that means whatever direction we have taken, the I1 is in the reverse direction the actual current flows. Clear? So this is the basic difference. So that is why you mentioned this method is very unique. Without any thinking, you can assume the direction of the current, and if your assumed direction is wrong, then mathematics will correct your answer. Right? So we have to simple this four procedure. This four procedure you can say are four methodology. You just apply and simply you can find this one. Next point is fifth. I'm erasing this one. Fifth point is also very important. Fifth point. if you are moving from negative plate, negative to positive plate of cell, then whenever we are applying the KVL, we have to take a closest path for a loop or for a mesh. We are taking the KVL, we are taking the summation of all the potential difference. So we are moving from this end, if we are moving like this one. So if we are moving from negative to positive, that means that indicates the potential rises. By negative indicates the lower potential, positive indicates the higher potential. So if we are moving in a circuit, in a loop, and if we are moving from negative to positive plate of the cell, that means the potential difference is positive. Then the value of the delta V is positive. Right now? Then we will take the delta V is positive. Clear? And so this sign convention also valid for the resistances also. Suppose the current I1 flows from this end to this end. I am assuming this direction. So that means this is the higher potential and this is the lower potential. That is why the current flowing from this end to this end. But the direction of the I1 is where? From this end to this end. That means this end of the resistor is at higher potential and this end of the resistor at the lower potential. So what is the potential difference? The I1 into 5. So 5 I1 is the potential difference. Whether it is a positive potential difference or the negative potential difference. So because from higher to lower we are moving, that is why it is the negative potential difference. Whenever there is a gain of potential, it is plus. Whenever there is a loss of potential, then it is minus. Right now? Whenever there is a gain of potential, here we are moving from higher potential to lower potential. That means there is a loss of potential. Whenever there is a loss of potential, then there is a minus. If you are moving from minus to plus, that means there is a gain of potential. Gain of potential, that means you are applying the positive delta V. And this point is very important. Right? So this is all the rules to apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law in any particular numerical. So I hope you understand the rules.